we set out to do this, and did for 4 years, to do this work at Brain State. And in the 4th year, we met a gentleman who is a neurologist from Colorado. His name's Robert Scarer, S-C-A-E-R. And he is a trauma expert and a neurologist. And Bob was presenting to us a source of the problem which I had theretofore not cared about, frankly. But when he presented the source of the problem to be trauma and explained to me that he felt that 100% of all pathologies were due to trauma, I thought that he might be wrong. And so I thought he was wrong. And so I spent some time to try to prove that he was in fact wrong, and I proved in fact that I believed he was right. And so we started to be able to see, by looking at brain maps, which are the results of the assessment process we do with our clients, we started to be able to see where trauma lives in the brain. And as we were able to see that, we were able to then depict where we needed to help the brain train or change itself in order to overcome those traumatic imprints. So there's a video that was presented to me late in 2006 from the National Institute of Health, from an individual who's a neurobiologist. By the way, he's now using Brain State Technologies architecture and technology in his home city of Rome. And he presented to me the video from the National Institute of Health, which really describes, I think, or depicts what is going on when the brain faces trauma. Now, trauma is any time or anything that the brain itself, the network, that's what we call the brain. We don't call the brain the mind, and that is some additional thoughts above and beyond the actual network. But the network, the brain, which we work with, and the energies of the brain, he showed to me this video, and from it we have now a clear vision of what happens when a network changes because of trauma. And trauma, again, is anything that the brain discerns that is threatening to its life. It may be real, it may not be real, but if the brain picks it up as a threat to its life, that's a trauma. And there is a print from that. And if many of those instances happen, there will be a lasting print or a dominant network that will develop from that experience. So let me show you this video, because I think it will help you to understand a little bit about how our brain actually works in the face of trauma. And in the video itself, you're going to see, not a human brain of course, you're going to see a video of a mouse's brain which is going to be given a serious trauma. They're going to use a laser and give the mouse effectively a stroke. So let me show you that video. These neurons are very happy. They're going to be passing packets of information back and forth between them, and you're going to see that. And you're going to see a slight red line through this video, and that red line is actually a blood vessel. So let me play this for you now. And here we go. These neurons are happy, and then this blood vessel's happy. Boom. You see that white spot? What that white spot is a laser that has just given this mouse a stroke. And when the mouse gets a stroke, look what happens underneath that stroke. All the light that you saw before, moving back and forth in various directions, is now all directed to that one place in this mouse's brain. And although this video is taken over a 10-hour period of time and it's sped up, what you're going to see right about now is you're going to see towards the end here, you're going to see this blood start to flow back. This mouse's brain actually brought information and energy to this one spot and restored the blood flow or the blood vessel that the laser had zapped 10 hours previously. But notice this. Underneath that restored spot is the same kind of extreme energy spot that you saw when the trauma happened. This was a trauma for a mouse. And in fact, now the brain says, aha, here's how I stay alive. I create this spot, this energy pattern, this neural network. And this neural network is going to keep me alive. But the brain doesn't care that the mouse can't walk very well, or can't walk hardly at all. And the brain doesn't care that the mouse may have impaired vision. It doesn't care if the mouse may have impaired squeaking ability or speech in our case. It doesn't care. What it cares about instead is that it's alive. That is the brain's one and only one major function, to keep itself alive. And as it does that by creating different neural nets where it sees that it's threatened. And when it lives through the threat with those neural nets, aha, it keeps them. Those neural nets can later not be helpful. And so we want to find a way to train this brain away from the trauma imprint. And that, we found, is the work of Brain State Technologies. That's what we do.